As we draw nearer to the end of the liturgical cycle, we observe that the prayers and readings focus on themes related to the end of times. They speak about death, judgment, heaven and hell, intending to remind us of our earthly mortality. The first reading today is taken from the prophet Malachi. Malachi speaks to the Jewish people after they returned from the Babylonian exile and rebuilt the temple. Even after the harsh experience of exile, the hearts of the Israelites were far from Yahweh. The people were selecting inferior animals for sacrifice. The priests were negligent in teaching the law and guiding the people. There was widespread practice of mixed marriage, divorce, and oppression of widows, workers, and orphans. At the same time, the people were trying to come to terms with the irony of life. Evil people were prospering, and good people were suffering. Many became skeptical and cynical, and people began to question and complain about Yahweh's justice and love. They looked forward to the day of the Lord, which was that time when God will win victory for Israel over all its enemies. Malachi gives the people the message that there will indeed be a great reversal of fortunes. God is coming to right the wrongs of this present age, and at that time they will be so happy they will jump about like stall-fed calves set free from the pen. However, the day of the Lord would also imply a judgment on them. If they wanted the day of the Lord to come and fulfill their hopes, they needed first to turn to the Lord and become righteous, holy people. The reference made to the Son of Righteousness is a reference made to the Messiah. For Christians, the Son of Righteousness is Jesus, the Messiah who brings healing. As we will soon begin the season of Advent, we need to introspect and ask if we are ready to welcome Jesus in our life, or if we are like the Israelites who are waiting for the day of the Lord but are not willing to change our lives. In the second reading taken from St. Paul's second letter to the Thessalonians, Paul addresses the issues of some members of the church at Thessalonica who are living in idleness and not willing to work, perhaps waiting for the second coming of the Lord. He reminds them that he and his co-workers were not lazy when they were in Thessalonica. They worked and earned their bread while they waited for the Lord's return. We all know people who resemble these busybodies from Thessalonica, those who are more interested in the lives of others, not for the sake of helping them, but to engage in gossip. Their actions create chaos and ill will in the community. What role do we play in our communities and societies? Are we the gossip mongers? Let us remember the words of Pope Francis, who said that gossip is a plague worse than COVID, that is seeking to divide the Roman Catholic Church. The gospel taken from Luke is quite frightful, to be honest. It speaks about false prophets, wars, earthquakes, famines, plagues, persecution and betrayal. In the Gospel of Luke, the temple plays a very vital role. In response to their wonder at the temple's beauty, Jesus predicts the destruction of the temple, which was the center of Jewish life for almost 1,000 years. Some 40 years after Jesus predicted the destruction of the temple, Rome crushed the Jewish rebellion and the city of Jerusalem with the temple was destroyed in 70 AD, just as Jesus said. There is, however, a silver lining to the gospel: the assurance of the Holy Spirit guiding us and strengthening us during difficult situations. Using a proverb that signifies divine protection, Jesus tells them that not a hair on their head will perish. Ultimately, their experience of persecution will not end in death, but in a victory for their souls. There are two main messages that the readings present before us. First, often we place our attention and focus on material objects. It could be the desire to purchase a new house, a computer, or a mobile phone. The list is endless. There is always something more that we want to possess. By speaking about the destruction of the temple, which the people of Israel cherished so much, Jesus is drawing our attention to the fact that all these material objects are temporary and transient. Just before this passage begins, Jesus speaks about the poor widow in the temple. This is what we too are called to focus on. Look beyond our wants and desires and reach out to those more in need first. The second message is the importance of trusting in God even amid hardship and persecution. Quite often when we face difficulties in our life, we stop praying, we stop going to church, and begin to blame God and sometimes even question the existence of God. It is at these times that we are called to remain steadfast in our faith, and instead of stopping prayer, we are to pray more so that we receive the grace that we need to withstand the troubles in our life. The readings today are passages grounded in hope, in the hope that God remains present in the world and one's life, even when things are not going well. We are invited to prepare ourselves not only for the final day of the Lord, but for each and every day of our life, by reaching out to others instead of focusing only on ourselves. We are invited to be community builders by building bridges and not community breakers by gossiping. May God bless us all in living out this challenge.